Pardon me. Do you have any Grey Poupon?
Good. The wasps are gone. Ah! Remnants of the hive post-battle.
I am James ALOFS. I left the big city to build an off-grid homestead on 40 acres of Canadian wilderness. This area of Ontario has giant ridgelines, deep valleys, and pure rivers. Black bears, gray wolves, mountain lions, moose, and many forest spirits share the land. I started in November 2023. Starting with a modest 12 by 16 foot guest cabin, my goal is to build such a glorious homestead that I attract a magnificent wife, have 10 babies, and raise an Irish wolfhound. Welcome to Wild Homestead.
Oh boy, we ran into a spike here. One of these big timber lock screws. I don't know if you can see that coming in from above, but I'm gonna have to resharpen the chainsaw because I hit into it on both sides. I'm gonna have to do this with the Sawzall. Whoa. Dang. This is going to be cool, man, because this is where I imagine, you know, the bed is going to be right here, the head of the bed, and looking out. And if we clear the trees properly,
we should be you can see the ridge line over there. It's gonna be a pretty sweet view, man. And then plus in the summertime, obviously, the ventilation, because this is a casement window, it opens. And then on the opposite end on the same level, gonna have another 20 by 20 inch casement window.
Whoa!
Into the Atlantic Ocean, and you should be able to find your way back to Europe from there.
Heron, Niagara Falls, Lake
Ontario.
Hamburg. Up the river. Easy, buddy.
Great to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Okay, let's get you going here. It's a big push off.
All right.
Safe travels. Go.
What about the paddle?
There's only one paddle.
Oh my God. I made it. Look how low the water is. Wow. Dude, oh my God. Guys, this fish is way too beautiful. I can't, they're like my pets, man. I was gonna eat him, but he's too beautiful. We'll catch brook trout somewhere else. These guys are like my pets in the river. Oh man. I was like, you know what? This is the week we're gonna eat fish from the river, you know, from our river right on the property. But I still feel like they're my pets, man. There's a lot of fish in this river. Holy cow! I don't know. Maybe I'm just not hungry enough this morning. Because if you're hungry enough, you'll even eat your neighbors. Cabin's over there. Look at this. Perfect blackberries, man. Wow. Yeah. Dude. Blackberry bush number 2. Blackberry bush number 3. Ooh, that's a big one. Okay, this is super weird. So that is the 3rd time this summer I found a field mouse literally just beheaded with his head sitting beside him. One time was out closer to the road, and then twice it's been along the path. But it's not like I mistakenly, at first, I thought, wow, did I mistakenly, run this guy over with my ATV? But these critters are usually pretty quick. And I haven't taken out my ATV in the past 48 hours. So I know it wasn't my ATV this time. It's got to be, if I had a suspicion, it would be something in the weasel family. A weasel, a stoat, something called an ermine. These are all smaller versions of the fisher that we saw back in, I think it's episode 31 or 30. Those guys,
hunt bigger prey items, but the smaller ones will hunt smaller ones. That's the only thing I can think. If anybody else has any ideas, please leave, a note in the comment, but it's just bizarre.
Well, folks, I physically I can't even fit any more steel wool down there. So it looks like the combo is one row of this. There's 3 rows in here, 1 row of that, and then 1 of the 3 in here. These are the only really kind of nooks, I think, where critters can get through down underneath the floor. And there was a reader that's actually suggested this. It's like, hey, put steel wool pads down there. The rodents and whatnot cannot get through it. So I physically can't jam any more in there. I don't see how a mouse would be able to push that through. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Like, that's pretty jammed in there.
So guys, I actually realized there's 4 logs left that we didn't mill. So we got to mill these 4 last, and then that'll be done, and then we got to move them. No. Not yet.
So I usually
Oh boy!
2x8s. Beautiful 2x8s. Look at that.
Yeah, he's been played with.
6x8 beam. Look at this mountain of lumber, man. We got 2 mountains of lumber.
Yeah. Wood chips.
Dude, oh my God. Whoa. Wow, that bear had really interesting markings on his chest. What a beautiful bear. I wonder if that's the 2 cubs with the mother that walked right by my tent and that I also filmed. Remember, I filmed them coming up over a path, a trail not far from my property, the month before. So glad to see him around, man. Got to stay vigilant. So guys, after much thought, I've decided that, the crack that's around the base of the floor that we've sealed up at the bottom with the hardware mesh, 1/4-inch hardware mesh, I think I'm going to seal that with spray foam. I looked at a bunch of different options. I was thinking about putting down oakum chinking and then to fill in the back with just ripped up sheep's wool insulation. I was thinking about that and I'm like, I don't know how it's going to perform in terms of moisture down there. So I'm going to go with, I believe this is closed cell foam. The people at Home Depot and then the other home hardware in the nearest town, they didn't really know what closed cell foam was. So we looked in their internal system. We searched for closed cell foam. And then I also did search for it on their website. And for some reason, they had 2 other brands. One was called Great Stuff, I believe. And then there was another one that I didn't recognize. But this one is from a company called, this brand is called LePage. It's from a German company called Henkel. And that kind of gave me a little bit of faith. Alexander Nick from last episode, episode 32, his first job was actually at Henkel AG in Germany.
We've got gaps and cracks. That's just, I think, a generic one. We've got one specifically for windows and doors. And this one there's no bowing, so it won't, put pressure on the sides of the windows, which is, I think, really good. And then this one's for massive gaps. So I think this one could be very good for up here. Because this one can expand up to 3 inches. I wanted to use, all natural materials and stay away from the spray foam. I think this is a relatively small portion to be doing by spray foam. And I think it's the best solution, to be honest. The critical thing is that we're not using it over massive swaths of the cabin. So
I think it's going to be okay. I think I can live with that. It's pretty good. So that was the gaps and cracks. This does up to 1 inch. It actually says wiring and plumbing penetrations, HVAC, ductwork, basement and crawl space, drafts, sill plate, attic hatch, pest entry, interior or exterior. Now the other one, we're going to try this big gaps. It expands up to 3 inches, so we'll see how this goes. Whoa! Holy cowabunga, man. Well, we'll see what happens to this guy. We have a bit of a conundrum here, ladies and gentlemen. So we did our regular, tracing of the level spline and then going to cut it out. And I realized this space too small to use the chainsaw. This is basically as far as you can go straight on. And then I cut at an angle, further to the bottom, but there's no way to properly get the material out, especially for this side over here. So, I mean, I think I might have to get, maybe I could use a multi-tool. I'm thinking maybe Milwaukee makes a multi-tool that you can literally just, it's basically a thing that vibrates whatever the attachment is on the end. And you can essentially get like a little cutting serrated blade thing and just the blade will go in. You might also be able to get a rotor, something that has just got a cutting tool that spins right where it is and just keep doing lines, like a 2-inch long rotor bit. Oh, geez Louise. I did one cut here, which was fine, but the first horizontal cut I did, it started splitting the log all the way up. I don't know if you can see this. You see that? It started splitting it. It split like way back to here. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, where art thou? Whoa! Whoa! I just had a visit from my neighbor. I haven't seen in a long while. He brought me some maple syrup. I bought it off him, 25 bucks for a liter. But this is what's been missing in my life, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't been making wolf's milk for like 3 months. I asked my neighbor about the conundrum with cutting open the splines in the window. And he said that both steel, or Stiel, as Alexander taught us last week, and Husqvarna, right? Trying to cut in those close quarters, both Stiel and Husqvarna make battery-powered, like super tiny saws. He would rent or buy one of those. That would probably work best. He said you can use something called a multi-tool, but that would probably not work for excavating. That it's good for maybe cutting in, but excavating all that material, it's probably not the best tool to use. Look at that. Blueberries and blackberries. Flavor explosion. Ooga booga. What? What? Guys, do you know what this is? This is an oak tree. Oh my goodness. Look, it's hidden in behind here. You see that? That's the trail over there. It's kind of hidden behind this spruce tree. Oh my goodness. This thing's gotta be 10 feet tall. Oh my God, look, it's like there's no branches down here. You see this? Something has bitten that off. I wonder if that was rabbits feeding when it was, lower down. But oh my goodness, man. This guy's leaves are not as healthy as looking as Thor's red oak though over there, but he's huge. It's a double stem. We got to cut down the spruce tree here. There's a spruce tree right there. We got to give him some sunlight. And oh my goodness, this guy's a beast. just got back from town, so I ended up going with this mini chainsaw. This is the smallest chainsaw that Stihl makes. You can put this on a pole and use it to prune branches. It's the same kind of blade length for their branch pruning tool. So the other option other than this was to use a rotary tool, literally a thing that just like spins in space. And actually they had a 1.5 inch long bit, which is exactly what I need, that cuts a 3/4 inch wide. So I could have just done 2 passes with that tool. The problem with that tool is that it can't go all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. So I think, eventually I probably will need a rotary tool, but that thing was like $500 and then the bit was like $50 plus tax. This chainsaw thing was like $180. So it's much cheaper and it can do the whole thing.
Guys, we got about that far and the stinking battery's out. Oh my goodness. So the router tool would be able to do probably up to about there and then down to probably here, because the handle and the rest of the tool, right, takes up a bunch of space. So we could use the saw to do the top 3/4 of this, the bottom 3/4 of that, and then use the router for the rest, because this is just... I think it takes about 15 or 20 minutes to charge this battery. So, we were trying it with the chisel yesterday, but the chisel was causing the wood to crack. Now, there might be some other kind of shape of chisel, some other hand tool, because obviously in the past they would have done these splines by hand, right? But I just have no specialty. Like in the nearest, city to where I am, the most specialized thing, there's a Home Depot and there's a Home Hardware. There's 2 hardware stores. There's no like specialized tool. Guys, I think the thing's fully charged. That took like 5 or 10 minutes. Bummer. So that was not a full charge. That was like 1 bar, so I'm not understanding the blinking lights on the charger properly. So let's see how long this thing actually takes to charge, man. Here we go. Fully charged, apparently. Pray to the gods. How long will it last this time? Nice. This one is a mess. Oh my. I think it's just up here. Oh my. So this up here is a little deeper. As you can tell, it's a little mangled, but it's still very snug in here because some sides are wider, some sides are closer, some sides are wider. It's just so hard to carve this, man. A combination of doing the regular chainsaw at a weird angle with this little pippy thing. I think I've had to recharge that battery like 6 times. I kid you not. So this is literally going 10 times as slow as the other ones. But let's finish her up in the final stretch. Whoa, 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 whoa. So my buddy Alex was visiting from Munich last week. We were having breakfast one day and I wasn't filming. And he had mentioned that he grew up in Mainz, a city on the Rhine in Germany, the Rhine River. And I was like, dude, Mainz. And I looked it up on Wikipedia. I'm like, dude, Mainz was originally founded by the Romans. It's a very famous city in Roman history called Moguntiacum. And I'm like, do you know what happened in 407 AD? It might have been like 409 AD. I'm like, it was the massive invasion, hundreds of thousands of Germanic people, mainly the Vandals and the Burgundians. This is where we get the word to vandalize, by the way, is from the Vandal tribe and what they did during this era. Now, it was an Alamo-style story where the garrison and the commander at Moguntiacum basically fight to the death, defending valiantly the Roman northern border. The head general of the Roman army at this time was a guy named Stilicho. He was having some problems in the east. He was pulling a bunch of troops, manpower, off the northern Roman border, the Rhine River, the Danube River, to come help him fight in the east. And it was a gamble, but, you know, it wasn't that big of a gamble because you got this big, wide, natural defensive border, which is the Rhine, and it was heavily fortified with walls, with forts, with guard towers, etc. And the only real risk for Stilicho, and he knew this, is that kind of once every 50 years, the Rhine would freeze over. It would get cold enough, the whole thing would freeze over. And that's the time when they'd be most at risk from an invasion from these northern barbarian tribes. So anyways, he pulls these troops away in the year 407 AD, 409 AD in the fall. And the garrison commander, the guy in charge of a big chunk of the Rhine border, he's based in Moguntiacum, the kind of central node. And they're just praying, but it's getting colder and colder every day that winter. It's going to be a really cold winter. They're praying
It's like the Rhine River do not freeze over, because if it freezes over, they're screwed, right? Most of these Germanic, like the Franks, the Burgundians, the Vandals, these are hundreds of thousands of people each. So anyways, the Rhine freezes over and they know it's coming. Now at this time, the Franks are actually an ally of the Romans. So the Franks are actually fighting with the Romans, but the Vandals and the Burgundians invade at Moguntiacum, and the Romans with their Frankish allies, they fight, and the garrison at Moguntiacum, it's like the Alamo. It's like the battle at the Alamo with Davy Crockett. They fight and they die to every single last man. But it's almost like the film Home Alone, where they set up all these crazy defenses, these ballista, these catapults, these crazy trenches and forts, and they fight this like rear guard action where they're falling back like from Moguntiacum to all these guard towers. A great historical fiction novel that talks about the winter of 407 or 409 AD, the Battle of Moguntiacum, the invasion of the Vandals and the Burgundians. It's an absolutely fascinating book. It's historical fiction, but it's just amazing. One of the most important events in Roman history that eventually leads to the fall of Rome is this invasion of the Vandals and the Burgundians, and Rome never recovers, and they never kick these guys out. Once they invade, they're there to stay. So crazy that Alex is from Mainz, which is Moguntiacum. So guys, I made a mistake on the window frames. So you see the original frames that we made here. I made them exactly to the dimensions of the manufacturer, Pollard Windows. Shout out pollardwindows.com. I love you guys. And there's a bit of a gap you see at the top, at the sides, and we're going to be spray foaming that in. That's fine. And I was just thinking to myself, like, well, what if I cut it at a finer dimension so that there's less room there? So basically, I did a smidgen larger than the actual size of the frame. Basically, the window can barely, like, it can't fit in there. I'm going to have to use the rubber mallet to kind of hammer it in. And I think it's just too small. So we're going to recut the frame. I've learned now, like, if the manufacturer, there's a thing called RSO that it says on the instructions, it's basically called the rough opening. You should really stick to that, because I guess there's a reason why there's a gap there. A moment of truth. Nice. 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 You see, need to shim it up a little bit there so that it's level. Nice.
Oh, hey, James.
Oh, heck yeah.
Nice. Okay. Oh my God. Look at that. It's a little bit out, but. How we doing? 61%. Nice. Whoa! Holy cow. Give me a heart attack. What's in the bottom? Oh, there we go. Nice.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Oh, wow. Maybe that expanded a lot. It's not too bad. You just have to, I think, cut some of the top off, but it's good to know. Don't get too aggro with the old foam spraying here. Look at that, man. It feels so good. So I overdid it with the foam a little bit. I'll have to come back and cut it out. But it feels so good to have the bottom of this floor. Finally, we got the mechanical 1/4-inch mesh protecting us not once on the outside, but twice. We got the spray foam in there. Now this floor should be ready to take the final hardwood flooring, tongue and groove, with the Home Depot private label brand, which is called Great Stuff. I'm sure it might be in the States and in Europe too, Australia. That stuff is not great compared to this. This is much higher quality. The spray gun's higher quality. And the key thing is, with Great Stuff, I immediately got dizzy and nauseous within literally 30 seconds of spraying the stuff. I sprayed like 9 or 10 canisters of this stuff today, and I didn't feel anything. Now, it might just be a completely innocuous yet still poison, like you can't smell it, but it's still poison or something like that. But I don't think so in terms of the propellant that's in here, helping the foam get out. But I cannot recommend this stuff enough. LePage, it's a Henkel brand. There you see Henkel on the back. Oh boy. We better give this new big oak boy, we better maybe push those 2 spruce trees out of the way. Beautiful. Look at this guy, man. He's going to be in for a shock getting all this sunshine tomorrow. What do you think we should call him, guys? First thought was Odin's oak, but he's a big boy. He's breathing free now. Look at that bad boy. He'll be producing acorns in no time. So you see, I've got the lumber here. I'm going to stack up all the lumber. I need to do that next week from my neighbor's place. All the beams and the 1x and the 2x lumber here. And then once I bring my sawmill, which I have to get next week as well, because my aunt says I can't keep it there anymore. I'm going to have the sawmill. I'm going to have all that lumber there. And then there's a bunch of huge red pine logs at the end of the driveway that I need to mill up. And this is the perfect spot to mill them. But if I've got my sawmill, all that lumber, and then my truck, there's not gonna be any room to maneuver here. So that's why I want to punch a parking pad in here. I think I only need to cut down 2 trees to do it. So this is usually, literally, you can see where my 2 front tires usually are. If I punch it straight in here, there's only 1-2 trees I need to do. And my neighbor is coming tomorrow morning, and he's just gonna push all these stumps and everything and kind of level it out so we can put down gravel next week. And then I can park my truck there and eventually build a carport, and it'll be out of the way. And then this will be sawmill and lumber and, a working pad here.
Another wild week here on Wild Homestead. We secured the 4 corner crevices of the bottom logs to make them rodent proof. We discovered a brand new magical 10-foot tall red oak tree. Leave naming suggestions in the comments. We saw a juvenile black bear and caught a beautiful brook trout in our river. We finally spray foamed and sealed off the edges of the floor with high-quality German Henkel foam. We milled the final huge 4 red pine logs at our neighbors. We acquired 3 new tools, a shop vac, a mini chainsaw, and high-quality scaffolding. And finally, we cut, splined, framed, and installed the 2 sleeping loft windows. We'll see you next week on Wild Homestead, where the adventure continues. May the gods bless you, both the old gods and the new. And remember, folks, 4 words, 13 syllables. Ooga, booga.